right to a channel of Like Fluid. Welcome back to Moonfire, a Seeker Saga. Though this time we're not going to be playing the game, I'm just going to be talking about it. This is going to be just a short kind of review. I did leave one on Steam quite a while ago when I first started playing it. But I think now is a good time to actually take a look at the whole game as I've seen it. And I still have to go back and play a few bits. So I want to get a couple more achievements and try a few other things which I did miss in my playthrough. So that will be happening before long. But that's not too relevant to what I'm going to talk about. So we're just going to have a chat. Well, more of a monologue really, because you can't really interact with me. I'm not going to do this live. But yeah, let's have a chat about Moonfire Seeker Saga. So the art you'll be seeing as we go along here is all from the deluxe version of the game. So that's going to just illustrate randomly as I'm talking here. And the first thing I should really say, spoiler warning. I am not going to avoid spoilers about any of the game. If you've been watching my playthrough, you'll pretty much know all of them. And if you think, oh, this might be interesting, I want to play this game, I'll say now, I can recommend it. It's extremely good. You should go and play it. But don't watch the rest of this video. If you haven't played it, watch it after you've played. But yeah, go ahead and get it on Steam. I believe on itch.io as well, but definitely on Steam. That's where I got it from. Okay. Now, I'm going to assume from now on, if you're watching this, you've played the game, so I can't spoil you with it. So we're going to kind of just start off roughly at the beginning. I'm going to work through some ideas and so on and so forth. Yeah, this isn't super scripted. I just have some notes. One thing which I forgot in my notes, but just thinking of the other day, one thing I should mention about this game is the music is great. You just don't really hear it when I'm playing it because, of course, I'm doing all the voicing and so on, and sometimes it's difficult to get everything matched up because I literally can't control the music volume at the same time I'm recording. So you don't get much in my videos, but I really like the music in this game. It's really good. Something else that was good, there was at the opening immediately. We have a mystery. Who is our main character here? He doesn't know who he is. So what's going on? And I like that. This is, okay, immediate mystery. What's going on? I'm certainly getting involved in it immediately. Well, what is happening here? Who is this? What's just happened? I should read a bit more and find out. Because I actually saw chapter 1 before I got the whole game, courtesy of the dev, I should point out. And yeah, I was interested enough in the story I was reading and the way it was made to want to do the whole thing as a series, which I did. And of course, having RMC as an outsider is, I think, a good way to help explain the world. Because the one thing you don't want to do is have a character say to another, well, as you know, whole load of lore. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why are you telling a character something they already know? You're telling the reader. Yeah, but that's not good. You need some other way to do it. And of course, Douglas Adams brilliantly did it with the book. If you haven't listened to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you should do. Peter Jones' performance is perfect as a book, but that's a great way to explain everything that's going on in the galaxy that obviously we don't know. But we don't have a Hitchhiker's Guide to Melenthia handy here, so having RMC being an outsider is a great way to do it because people have to explain things to him. He can ask the questions we're thinking of as a reader. Well, why is this? Who is this? Who are these people? What's going on? What is Neo's descent? The Seekers? What did they do? It can all be explained to us. And of course, as well, when he first arrives, he has something that gets lost, gets stolen from him. And it does get explained eventually. Actually, I love it's just hanging on there. We kind of can forget about it quite easily, but it is relevant. I just love the fact that this small point is set there and it comes in right towards the end of the game. But it's not enough to actually affect the whole outcome of the game. There is another one you can do. You can go something which I missed in my playthrough. One of the things I have to do, and you can get another moon shard. But this is how it plays through, and it's not a quest to find this thing. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on. Like I said, I kind of forgot about it over the months I was playing the game. You might remember it more if, of course, you play it in one session or a couple. I think my play time is over 20 hours at the moment. That's included when I played through the demo, I think, and also certainly where I've gone backwards and forwards and had to redo some recordings because of technical glitches. But yeah, I think probably 16 to 20 hours is a good session for this. So of course we have our main character, so we've got to know them, and we have lots more characters coming in. And I think myself anyway, you may have your own opinion on this. So yeah, feel free to comment on this. I said we could have a chat, so you can chat in the comments and I'll respond if you have anything interesting to say about this. This is my personal view on this. But I like the speed, shall we say, of the way characters are introduced. We meet a few right off the bat, which makes sense. Our main character needs help, and we get to know these characters. And then we get the ravens coming in, and then we carry on and carry on. We meet people in Havenhearth. We get Novella there. We get all these people coming in steadily throughout the game till pretty much towards the end where we stop being introduced to people, because that makes sense. We need a cast in place by them. But I think it's paced well. We get to know people, and then we get to see them interacting with the new people, so we can judge partly the new people by how they're interacting with people we already know, so we know what these people are like. It helps give us an idea. And also, there are so many different kinds of characters, which I'm going to talk about a bit later. But yeah, I really like that. And this is probably a good moment to say that Kameo is absolutely, definitely the best character in the game. I will argue with you on that one. He is a very nice character to play. He's, apart from being obviously a really fun friend and nice to hang out with, he's kind of the ordinary person in this, because obviously our main character has just been shooked into the world. We don't know what's going on with him. We've got royalty here. We have the mercenaries, we have the ravens, we have the seekers, we have other people coming in. But Kameo is an innkeeper, basically. And that's what he is, a very nice guy. But he is not anything special. He's not very versed in the law. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know about the dual divines, particularly. He's not royalty. He is just the ordinary guy. I think that's one of the reasons why he's not only so likable, but he's necessary. We have ordinary people, and a few others will come in later. They're the ones who have really been affected. They can't do anything in particular apart from help the Lunar Knight. But yeah, we have some good people coming in here. And also, you can bond with Kameo as well as other characters. And I like that idea. It just shows you, yeah, we're getting on well and treating this person well. I think that's good. And of course, it doesn't have any kind of romance attached to it. And having played the whole story and knowing the ending, yeah, I think that's a really good idea. It's not a huge, long span of time it takes us to do all this stuff. But knowing what's going to happen at the end, yeah, even if there was a romance system, I would not do it in a second playthrough, knowing what would happen to the other person, what they've got to go through. So yeah, I know some people have commented the romance would be nice, but knowing the whole story, that would be a no. Have friends, but yeah, you don't do any more considering what happens to you. And also linked to the bonding is how you react to people. You can choose your personality, and that's a nice touch, because as we see in the end, we had an effect on this world. Just the time we were there, we did something to it. The people, we influenced them. And that's a nice little touch because, of course, if you're playing D&D or any other tabletop RPG, you can have an almost infinite variety of character types. Just forget all the D&D alignments, which kind of, yes, well, enough said about that. If you were aware of the old alignment limitations in certain races, not good. But if you have a human DM running the game, so I've DM'd myself, I have a friend of mine who's currently DMing a campaign I'm in, and a separate tabletop RPG, another friend of mine is DMing. And you can do so much with that because your human DM can immediately react. Okay, you're going to do this, you have to react. Even if, as a DM, you weren't expecting them to do something like distract one of the main drow people in the lore with singing Jolene and other stuff, and meanwhile other people stick into his ship, raid it, and throw a desk out through a window. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I had to adapt. But my whole point of this little story here is that... Oh, by the way, if you hear noises, there's still work going on with my neighbours. So I just heard some knocking there. Apologies for that. Yeah, so, as I was trying to say before, I got interrupted by the hammering. If you're DMing as a person, right there, you can adapt, you can react to all this. When you're coding a game, you can't do that. There's only so many things you can allow for. So that's why we have a more limited choice of personality and how we react for things, which I can't really say is a con. It'd be nice to have a bit more variation, but again, how much time do you want to spend coding all these things? And the more coding, the more difficult it gets, the more likely something will go wrong. But you get the choice there, which is something I like. We can have some effect on our main character and how we want to play it. It's a bit like playing Star Wars games, where you can be a light side, dark side. Incidentally, all of my characters are always light side, even my Sith characters. And talking about things like Star Wars, you can see I'm not really scripting this, so I'm going on a bit. Obviously, we know Star Wars. We know it's a massive galaxy out there. In Doctor Who, we know there's a huge universe out there, and in Moonfire Saga, we know there's way more than we actually really get to see. We get to travel. So we do get to see things happen with other parts of the lands that are here, but we know there must be way more. And we hear about things, even if we don't see them. And that's a great way to do something like this. I mean, if you're a massive open world thing, yeah, you can show, but then you need a budget like WoW for something like that. If this game feels like there's a bigger world out there. To give a comparison, which a lot of you might not get, but Carnival of Monsters. It's a John Pertwee episode from Doctor Who. Apart from this stuff set inside the miniscope, we only really see the immediate spaceport area on Interminor. But people talk about other parts of the planet. We hear about President Tsar, but we never meet. We understand that there's been unrest among the functionaries. Are they a different species? We don't know. Are they similar? They look different. There's a joke about give a functionary a hygiene chamber and store fossil fuel in it. Trust me, it's funny if you know the original line from a fairly right-wing politician back in the 20s. But what Bob Holmes did there is, with a few lines, he's just expanded this world. We can only see so much. We only have one set to work with. But just talking about it, there's so much other stuff we learn about what was going on. And that's what happens in this. We see some of the world, but we hear more things that we don't see. And that's excellent. You just need to talk about this. We don't need to see everything. So that's one of the things I've really been liking about this. It feels like there's a bigger world out there. And also, for those of you who don't know Bob Holmes' writing, especially Waffles Puffs, because I'm sure you'll be watching this, if I'm comparing your writing to the late great Bob Holmes, you should be pleased. He's one of the best writers I've ever come across. And also, one thing Bob Holmes was great at was his double act and all his characters. Likeable characters, interesting characters. And that's what we also have here. And one of the great things I love about some of the characters opposed to what we as the main character are doing, they're not just doing it because, oh, I'm evil, ha ha ha. No, they're doing it because they think this is the best thing to do. The best thing to do for my kingdom here is to do this and protect them. We'll do this. We will kill virtually everyone, but the people who like us will survive. I'm doing a good thing here. I am being a good queen. And so on and so forth. And that's what makes all those characters so interesting. They think they're doing the right thing. There are reasons for doing this, but we know that they're not doing the right thing. They're really being a problem here. But they don't think that. And that's what makes those characters so interesting. And we have a whole range of different people here. They have different reasons for joining us. We have someone who's kind of bored and doesn't really get on with his father in his kingdom there, so he's off doing other stuff. We have people just of the adventure. We have people who almost have redemption arcs, thinking about Mayu here. Maybe if I'd chosen a different option, we'd have bonded a bit more. I might have had more of a chance to save her. If I just rolled well, there's a chance to save her. Even though we can't, she has that redemption arc coming in. So that's an interesting thing. And also, at the end, we find out what happens to some of these characters. I'd hated to choose someone with me at the final battle. It's not a failure in writing, it's just a trope thing. So, as TV tropes, you can be genre savvy with this. And yeah, it made sense for Geraint to ask Soma to come with him at the end. This battle, we've been with him a long way. We trust him. But I felt doing that, I think I'm condemning him to death. And yes, I did. But I had to choose someone. So when I play through again, I'll choose someone else. So someone gets a happy ending and see what happens to him. And also, talking about saving characters, it's quite the system you need to go through to make sure Kameo makes it. As you saw, he did, and I actually played a bit ahead of myself, see how things were going. Unfortunately, I just made the right choices. So I think, I'm not sure if this was deliberate on the part of the dev, but if you're being this kind of nice character, he was worried about, so I should do that. I should really go and check. Let's just make sure. I just want to be sure of this. I can't relax. I need to do this. So kind of being a nice person, going that extra step. Kameo lives. I'd say, I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but that's kind of where I was going to. And I found out, fortunately, I was making the right decisions to keep my favourite character alive. So I'm pleased with that. And also, talking about having to do a certain thing, of course we have a D20 system here, which I played in the end relieves to that. I love the idea of this being in here, because it's random number generation. So like when you're playing any tabletop RPG, you're rolling your dice. Yeah, you're not quite sure what's going to happen. Hopefully you'll get a good score, you might even get a nat 20. But there is a chance of getting a nat 1 there, and things could quite easily go pear-shaped. Yeah, that's not good, but you have to learn to deal with it, and that's something I like about the game. Just we get these sections where we're doing combat, we're rolling our dice, and yeah, people might not make it if we don't roll well. Rest in peace, Mayu. But that just gets that bit of randomness in there, and actually seeing the dice roll, it feels more like I'm playing a tabletop RPG in these sections. It's nice to see that rather than just it being in the background in the program. And one thing I was thinking about talking a bit about here, but I've decided against it. There is a huge amount of lore in this game, and I think should I talk a bit? Nah, I think I'm going to kind of say, if you really want to dig into the lore, apart from obviously buy it and play it yourself, you can go at your own speed. I have an entire series playing this game. I think the best thing to do is just watch that series, and then you can pay attention to the lore, especially if you watch it more than once. Then you can pay attention. You won't get so caught up, what's happening. So the story's not so important. You can see what else is going on. But I really like the lore, the whole lot. And there's something else which I'm going to bring up towards the end of this video, because it seems the right place to do with the lore. And before I mentioned the RNG, the rolling RD20s, and hopefully everything is working there, we also make choices with that. So, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to roll my dice, and hopefully I get 19, 18, whatever we need, something like that. But I first made that choice. You often get the choice, do I attack? Do I heal? Do I just trying to help someone else? Do I attack this way? Do I attack that way? We're given choices. And that's, I think, important in this. It really makes me feel like I'm involved in the combat. Same thing as with D&D. I make the decision, okay, do I switch into bear form? Yes. Okay, am I going to claw this guy? Am I do this? Or am I just going to use some of my spells before turning into a grizzly? I play druids a lot, if you're wondering. So yeah, there are those choices that in D&D. There's lots of choices here. Again, we have a slight limit, but programming. I'm not going to criticize anyone for reducing things because they have to code all these different things in. And I do feel like our choices throughout the game, not just in the combat, are important. I mean, we can say that the Norns set this up for us. Our fate has said, Geraint, you are arriving here. This is where it's going to end. You can't change your destination. You go on the train, there's no stops, you're going right through to the end there. But the way we react to people, the choices, who to speak to, where to go. Do we go with Mayo and check this? Do we go and talk to this person? Do we do this? Do we go to the temple? Do we go and check in on Soma's orchards there? All this kind of thing. They are important. At the end of the game, we find out we had that influence on people. And when I had to make that decision, do I have the ravens help at the keep? Do I send them to help guard the tree? That really felt important there. I was really trying to decide, do I do this? Is this going to affect things? Well, yes, we can't have the ravens march on Havenhearth. Are we going to have to march on Havenhearth? So if the ravens come here, we can't take them. They would have to stay here, look after the keep. But the elves could go as we take them. But the raven... yeah, that felt really important. And that's the story's been really well written up to that point, that I am not sure how things are going to go. Yeah, that was important. And it just feels like, should I go and talk to this person? Should I do this? The whole thing, if you remember, we could have gone check with Mayo or not. I didn't do that because that was just my recording schedule. Okay, I need to get to this point here and do this. And these episodes are a bit long, so I decided not to, which may have saved her. But in a second playthrough, when I'm just playing through myself, I will actually go and do that. I might try some other options as well. Maybe keep the ravens at the keep, see what happens. But that will come back to us in a few minutes here. I'm getting close to the end of my notes here, and rather suitably, it brings me to the end of the game. So again, I'm going to do spoilers. If you haven't seen the final video, why have you been listening so far? But if you have been, please stop now and go watch that video, because I'm going to talk about things in a bit here. The ending of this game, it feels right. I'm not an English major. I stopped doing English Lits and English Lang when I was 16. I just read a lot. So, yeah, I'm also a storyteller. So I can't say, well, you see this and this and this and this and this and this. And if this piece comes in and blah, 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 lots of technobabble. No, I can't do that. I can just say the ending feels right. If it was a different ending, I could say, no, it didn't feel right. There was something off about it. But this one does feel right. There's a reason for the Seekers all through time. There's a reason for Geraint to be there. And I really wanted to, when I was playing this, going up there, to have a ending where I could just say, just for once, Rose, everybody lives. But I couldn't. But that's not a fault with the game. It felt right. I'd love to be able to save everyone there. Have Cora actually make it through, save the world, and come up. But no. But again, that worked. And having thought about it since I played it, I think if we'd been able to save Cora, it almost would have made everything we did slightly less, shall we say. The fact that she has to sacrifice herself to save the world, and we sort of do. It's hard to say what's been going on with our character here. But yeah, that felt like that was the right ending. The Seekers are gone. We've saved the world. And yeah, the Seeker had to sacrifice themselves for that. The last of the Seekers, yeah, it works. We just say that. I don't want to get too much into detail. I haven't thought through what I was going to say for this. Again, this isn't properly scripted. I just have notes here. But yeah, I think that was a very satisfying ending. It was a good ending, not in the sense of, yes, it's our good ending as opposed to our bad ending. No, this is the ending, and it's a good one. And after that, I really liked hearing what happened to those characters who did make it, and how they've dealt with everything, and things are going okay for them. I mean, Fenrir, God, that poor kid has gone through so much, but he's come out the other side kind of, I wouldn't say better, he's a nice enough kid to begin with, but probably it's made him into a much more empathic person. He's trying to be good. He knows the best for people. He's suffered so much. And it seems like life goes easy on him after that. And also hearing that Cameo takes over Soma's land since there was no one to take him on. And he does well for himself. And this is going on well. Yeah, all these, just these little endings. Well, continuation, shall we say, because we don't go right to the end of those characters' lives. I really appreciated hearing what had happened to them. And also the lines talking about our influence, the choices we made, which I referred to back earlier. Yeah, just, okay, I'm going to play my character as this kind of person as opposed to this kind of person. And we hear at the end that we had an effect on our friends who we met along the way here. Which, certainly in the case of Geraint and the way I played him, I think was a good influence. People are going to be relaxed and we try to be cheerful, upbeat, optimistic, and we seem to have passed that on to a lot of our characters, which, what they've gone through with the fall of Nayware, I think they need that. So we had an effect on the world. We wasn't just saving the world in this physical sense. We had more effect on that. So I think after a short time there, but as the saying goes, never more than a life well lived. I think Geraint, I named him all the Lunar Knight, as he was. I think he had a life well lived in Valentia. Wow, we are coming up to half an hour here. So I am going to try and wrap this up. If you're still here, well done. I'm just rambling here and talking about things, so I was expecting people to pay too much attention. Okay, so I've been all the pros. I really do enjoy this game. So, are there any cons with it? Not really, but there's a couple of things I'm going to say. I can see some people not liking the dice rolls. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Oh, no, I rolled one. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I play D&D, like I've said, years. I'm not going to go down how many years I've been playing it, but I'm kind of used to that. So I do like that system, but I can see some people might not. They want to have a more, I can set this up to do this rather than rely on the roll of a dice. And a save system, sometimes, especially for me recording, could get a bit annoying because occasionally things could happen. I realise, oh, there's been a glitch, things didn't record properly. I get interrupted by one of the cats jumping on top of me when I'm in the mid recording, and they jump on the keyboard and everything goes weird. So that could be a bit of a problem. But I can see why there are limited saves that you could choose, but every other scene roughly, because it does stop people from, I'm going to save right here and keep going back and back and back until they get the result they want with the D20s. D&D doesn't work like that. So I liked it for that. That made sense. But if you want to just drop in, you have to pick your points to save, just to go back for the second playthrough. But I think I'm okay with where I want to go. I want to go back and do one thing towards the end, which I have a save for. And then the next thing I'll be doing is to actually start way back at the beginning and make some other choices as I read through. So that's not really affecting me. So yeah, not really much in the way of cons that I found when I was playing. The writing is good. The story's really interesting. I love the lore we have in there. I like the characters. So yeah, I think overall Moonfire Studios can consider this a success. And that goes for everyone involved. I've talked mainly about the writing and the characters. I'm a storyteller. That's kind of where I tend to focus on when I'm doing these kind of things. So I don't always talk about art, which is not to say I don't like it. I love the art in this. The backgrounds are really nice. They're very suggestive of the lands. And the sprites we see, yeah, they are really good. I really enjoy seeing these different kinds of characters in there. So artists are well done as well. I haven't forgotten you. I just don't talk about it much. And then there's right at the end here, we just learn something more about our main character, the Lunar Knight. And I am really hoping that Waffles Puffs will take this forward with that character. The whole lore for that character is just absolutely screaming for a sequel or more stories. We need to know more about what's going on with him. It's nicely set up that way. This story in Melenthia, Geraint's effects there, and the whole story of Moonfire Seeker Saga is done. It's ended nicely. It's wrapped up. We can leave Fender and the others in Melenthia. We know they're going to take care of things. Stenmir is going to be taking care of things on his end. Yeah, things will not be perfect. They never are. But after all the people have been through there, things will be good. Certain things have ended. The Seekers are no more. The Dual Divines are no more. But there is like a new epoch beginning for that world. And we know it's in good hands. But there is still more for our Lunar Knight to do. And I'd like to see that, definitely. I enjoy the way we see this right at the end there. There is more to do. And I think as a character, he has a lot more he can do. There's a lot more we can learn about him, which I'd love to do that. And there's way more stories he can be involved in with new characters, new things. Yeah. Whether it's just a straightforward visual novel, it's more of a game, or it's something like we have here in Moonfire. I think any story with him, judging by what we've seen so far, that's going to be a good one. So I can definitely say whatever Moonfire Studios release in the future, I will be playing it. And very likely putting it up on the channel as well. I don't know exactly what the future plans are. I know there are plans, but yep, I would suggest follow them on Steam if you're on Steam. And you can keep track of what's going on there. Anywhere else, I think they are on Blue Sky. You can track them down there, just see what's going on. I will definitely be doing that and follow them in a few places. And yeah, if you have only seen my videos, yeah, do go and download Moonfire. It's not too expensive as a game. It's got, say, 16-20 hours maybe as you play it. So that's not bad for what you pay for it. I'm going to give you a price, but I'd have to call up Steam. And also it's Canadian dollars. Actually, let me just check for you right now. Hang on a sec. Yeah. As I record this, Moonfire Seeker Saga, $12.99. That's Canadian dollars. That's obviously where I'm working from here. So you can put that into your own currencies and get an idea. So say it's not that expensive. And the amount of gameplay you get, and I think it definitely rewards a second playthrough. It's definitely worth the money. So there we go. That was my review of Moonfire. Slightly longer than I thought it might be, so that's good. I hope I haven't bored you too much with my ramblings. So thank you for watching this. Thank you to Moonfire Studios for not only making this great game, but also allowing me to play it and asking me to take a look. I might not have found it if you hadn't done that, so I appreciate that. Thank you. And hopefully these videos have helped more people find it and they want to play. So thanks also to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. I'm not going to do the full readout like I normally do because this is a separate little video. So thanks to all my patrons. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks Waffles Puffs for the game. Bye for now.